Rita, come up here. And thank you, Kim. And Philip, come up here as well.
Hey.
Let me see if I have you sit proper. Rita, come just a bit closer to Philip because I have on the camera. It's going to be recorded for those who couldn't make it. And they really insisted for us to have that session. So here, I'm going to have you. Okay, so this is the topic, right, out of the listing presentation. Now, it's not about show me what kind of handouts you have, right? It's more of the conversation. Are you guys okay with that? Because that's really the real deal. And I'm going to let them choose what style of seller they want to deal with. If it's in person, male or female, couple, if it's over the phone, whatever it is, and then we'll take it from there. Fair? Okay, by the way, I didn't prepare them for this because they don't need preparation. Like in real life, like, you get a call, come list me, you show up and you do what you do best, right?
Right.
Okay, who want to start? Okay.
Oh.
She did this. She did this. So, okay, phone call, in-person meeting.
A couple of weeks ago, we're all from over the phone. So there was a come list me a divorce situation, unfortunately. And so I didn't know it was a divorce until they told me they're divorcing, and I thought they just didn't like Valencia anymore. Beyond that, it was the relationship was already made. So 80% to 90% of the battle could be won just by having rapport, having a connection with them, having history. Another one was a neighbor of ours I've been following up with for 6 years. So, guess what? And she listed with different agents over this time, and I didn't get a chance until recently. And sometimes you're just following up. And another one is another past client. So I hate to say it, but a lot of my deals are going to be like fairly warm. I do get a lot of cold inbound calls from our ads. So we've been doing Facebook ads at like, $50 spend every so often. They run 2 weeks at a time. Some of them run for a week. And when those calls come in, it's really about finding interest off the bat. So what's your motivation for calling a stranger about selling your home? Something along those lines, because they're calling me asking about the value of their home. So I'm just inquiring with them about what's their motivation to seek out a stranger to sell their house. And you're almost doing the basic pre-qualifying call. And you can pick your pre-qualifying script, whether it's Mike Ferry, Tom Hopkins, Tom Ferry, any of them. All of them work. Whichever one you decide to use, they're going to have a very basic flow. What's your reason for inquiring about your home value of your home? Where do you plan on moving to next? How much do you owe on your house? Any seconds? Or is there another decision maker? How soon do you want to get to your new house? How soon can we meet so I can do the walkthrough of your home? And then this is where I insert 72 sold. Monica and I usually have a gift. In our case, it's a little scout photo of, something that the kids have taken a picture of, and we do fundraising around that. Anyways, we bring that picture. That's the first thing we leave behind with them. Or if I don't have a picture on hand, I stop at a liquor store and get some lottery tickets. But the idea is a gift in hand. It's a walkthrough of their home. And I'll tell you now, 9 times out of 10, I'm not taking the listing on the first appointment. Now, I have the agreement prepared. I have comps prepared, all this stuff. It's all reconnaissance. Because most of the time, they don't even want to sell their house. They're just going through some issue or whatever. And the moment we don't get the listing, the moment we get the listing. And it sounds kind of counter, like the moment we don't get the listing, we get the listing. I know it sounds stupid, right? The point is that all of a sudden we built trust with them in a way that nobody else has built trust. Not the other 8 agents, if they talk to anyone beforehand, and a lot of times they may have already, trying to get that signature. Oh, you don't understand. I need the signature. For what? You're in the market with nothing, right? So a lot of it, we kill them on the preparation side. And by the time we show up, it's either they're already open a DocuSign, because I picked that up from another agent. They send everything in an email plus a DocuSign. And they text the client saying, hey, everything you would need for us to launch the property is already in your email. And we have a DocuSign out. If you agree to everything, you can sign it ahead of time. And then we'll still do the walkthrough. Does that happen every time? No. But the expectation is, hey, we can make it seamless. We can make it easy for you and not have to come back at night or whatever to get signatures. We can just make your world that much easier. So I hate to say it, I don't do a lot, but if you guys have specific questions on the appointment,
we'll go back to that in a second. So that was just like an opening to previous to understand the style, the method, or what have you. It was a lot of information, right? Condensed, and it speaks as fast as I am. So
all right.
it's all good. Rita.
Love everything Philip said. I don't spend too much time over the phone asking questions. I have learned for me, it actually doesn't help me. So I like to be in front of them. As soon as they call me, or if it's a warm lead or a cold lead, of course, you're trying to build trust over the phone and you're going to ask some important questions, but I try not to get into too much information and want to be in front of them. When you do go to their home, I also always go with a gift. I actually bring chocolates, cookies, or flowers, or an orchid. I love the lottery ticket idea.
It's just on the fly. Yeah, it's just on the fly.
We also do a lot of branding. So I have a lot of cool, stickers that I've had my printers make. So I always put it on something. If I have a little bag for them, I put it on the bag. If it's an orchid, I'll put it on that. If it's a vase, I'll put it on that. So always just make sure that you're coming in really professional. And then, of course, trying to build trust when you're in front of them and answer all the questions. One thing I've heard both sides. I've heard you want to be the first, and I've also heard you want to be the last.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in both situations. I've been in the first, and I asked them to sign, and they wouldn't. So I said, please, before you make a decision after me, because they said we were going to interview 3, please give me the opportunity. Whatever they come back, whatever the other agents say, just come back to me. And that actually worked. So there was a point where this agent promised the world. And of course, he called me. He said, okay, we love you. We want to work with you, but this is what they're giving us. This is what they're doing. So of course, that, allowed me the opportunity to think outside the box and to make it work. So, if you're the first one, you usually want to sign it, the first one. And sometimes when you're the first one, they will sign with you and they won't call the others.
What were a couple of the objections that they raised compared to the other agent? He said this, he said that. Couple of pointers.
Most important is the price.
Mhm.
Well, she said that it's worth this much, and she's willing to do all the staging. She's willing to, take care of this and that. So there are some extra things that I wasn't prepared for, obviously, in my first pitch to them, because that's always, we offer our services, but we don't necessarily have it, with our, and then I said, well, how much commission is she charging you? And it made sense. Well, she was charging him a lot more commission to make up for the staging. So there's a lot of things you could do, but these are the questions that you have to ask and just be prepared.
Connect all the dots pretty much,
The dots.
right? That makes sense.
Let's say I'm piggybacking on what Rita's sharing. That seller concierge is such a leverage piece.
Yeah.
Too.
And I do have a slide later on. If you forget about it, if you're not sure what it is, it's going to be a game changer if you know how to leverage that. Yeah.
I mean, one of our listings we took, granted as a past client, but the prior option would have been just sell his house for cash and let it be. But to have access to even just $25,000 or $30,000 to get his home ready,
Easy, yeah.
Yeah, we're like flipping his own house,
Mhm.
as opposed to letting someone else do it. So that was like an easy. We were getting the listing anyway, but that just kind of brought more options to life versus I'm just going to sell it to an investor.
Yeah.
And knowing what they want. So how much you want to net. If they want a certain amount of money, then you have to come in and tell them, okay, well, we're going to have to do ABC to get you that.
What did she say?
Yeah.
How much what?
Nets
Versus
gross.
how much you want to sell for.
Right.
Thank you. Because 90% of the agents will ask how much you want to sell for. A whole different mindset, right?
Yeah, and always make sure you have Dawn prepare your net sheet. You have to have that with you. And I usually have 3 net sheets with me.
Oh,
Different pricing.
unplug for Jamie and that class and app. If you just sign up with Fidelity and you're from this office, they'll automatically link the cost of Pacific Coastline Escrow.
Yeah.
So you can just run them on there, and they're actually
can do it
pretty
yourself.
cool. They make it super easy. They even find the balances that the people owe on the house. It makes our world easy just to run it with our VA or just ourselves on the fly. So, and you can put cool little logos and color schemes in your pictures. It's very neat.
So do you print
Muted.
that?
Okay,
Oh
so,
yeah.
okay.
Is there a question on the Zoom? Is there a question on the Zoom? Because someone was saying something.
I have a question.
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
What's the 3 net sheets you take?
Different prices, because you don't really know. Over the phone, you try to find out if they think they know what their home is worth, because every seller thinks they know what their home is worth.
$5 million for Canona Park.
Make sure that you have a few, because I could be wrong. I might be looking at the comps and think this house is worth so much, but then I go there and I'm like, oh my goodness, no, this house cannot sell for this much because, there's no backyard, or because the neighbor's house is horrible, or because it's next to something I didn't realize, so you always want to go prepared and have a few net sheets. And trust me, you never want to give a price over the phone. And I've been in a situation where they ask over the phone, well, can you just tell me, well, you know what? I could give you a range. This is what it says, but until I come and see it.
Yeah.
It happened over the summer. I was literally on an airplane going to Armenia, and I get a client and says, I need to list now. And I said, can you wait? I'll be back in 3 weeks. Nope, I need it now. Fine, no problem. So we're in a team, send the team over there, they would take a look at the home. We did our best to try to price and do everything prior, but for whatever reason, it still wasn't the same as if we had gone in there together and really seen everything together. It's just, you never know until you go to the house and really examine. So every home tells a story. And I always say that to my clients over the phone when they say, well, tell me how much. I can't.
It's also, there's a difference between mastering the contracts and just understanding how to navigate with the forms, right? So it's almost like you need to go and do an AVID, right?
Yes, exactly.
Part of your assessment of the house, because it can be the most beautiful house, but it's like on the 101 and it's the noisiest backyard ever.
Yeah.
It's not going to be comp to the one that sold 2 blocks down, the same house. It's not.
And for the newer agents, don't do this alone. Why should you do this alone? Because it's taken me 21 years to get to where I'm at today, to feel the confidence and to know that I could tell the seller, no, your house isn't going to sell this much, and be confident. We all want a listing, but do you really want a listing that doesn't sell? It's stressful. At least for me, it's stressful. I'd rather not have it. And I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So you have to pick your clients and pick your battles, I guess.
Susie, then Alon.
Rita, what is your go-to commission you charge the listing? Have you find objections towards that? And then do you discuss also the buyer's commission?
Tell them
Yeah.
10%.
My go-to has always been the 2.5%, 2.5 to 3%. But now in this other situation where this agent promised so much, it was actually, I think, 3.5%, but smart. Why not? You could do that. What was the next question?
Do you discuss the buyer's commission?
Always. I'm still doing that. What if you're going to represent? What if someone comes unrepresented? So yes, the only difference is you're kind of breaking it up. I think before we come in and say, this is the fee. This is the fee to sell your home. It's 5-6%. So now we break it up. So we talk about our side, and then you let them know that, remember, this is just the listing side. There's still buyers agents.
You do have it on the seller net sheet. So on the triplicate,
sheet.
Off of whatever the buyer is proposing in the
Right.
RPA.
Right.
But I also still say that, hey, for 40+ years, the common practice was always 2.5-3%. And if your home gets a great offer, why wouldn't you offer that to that buyer agent? And if you don't get that, then maybe that's when you can negotiate. But I think people are confused about the changes that we had last year. And
I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Alon?
Just to follow up on her, so on the net sheet, you would actually say the buyer's agent commission.
I put it 3%.
Yeah.
And it'll say, and it's 3 and 3.
Smart.
And then at the same time, it gives me wiggle room, right? So
Dictate the buyer's.
yeah. And then obviously a lot of times
It's a net sheet. It's not predetermination of which we cannot do, how much you're going to sell. The buyer's agent. It's a net sheet, which is it's a very smart way to do it.
so
Yeah.
Filip, you are actually charging on the net sheet, you're putting 3.3.
well, sometimes I'll put 3.5, 3, or 3.3. And then that lets me know that they actually read it. Because when I send the email over and it has all that stuff on there, if they're a C personality, they read that whole email and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not paying 3.5%. Well, awesome.
You send that prior to seeing them.
Well, C personalities will read it. My mom, who's a D, she's not going to read it. She'll want me to be there in person, walk through the house with her. Hey, do the house for 1% or whatever. That's my mom. But my point is that the personalities will fit that approach, right? So like if I email them everything and Alone is like hardcore, I want to read it all. Awesome. I know who I'm dealing with when I show up. If he doesn't read it, he's like, oh, I didn't see the email. I didn't read your text message. Oh, okay, cool. We'll walk through it together and there we go. Yeah. But if you put that in there and then you save them some money, because some agents are only asking for 2 or 2.5, we look like geniuses. And then if you have a baseline, yeah, maybe you don't go past 2.5, or whatever that number is for you. But then the seller, the owner feels like they're winning. They feel like they're getting ahead in different things.
Wants to lower your commission, you have to actually ask them, so how much do you want to net?
Yeah, what's the
How much
ultimate
do you
net?
want to walk away? Well, what if I could bring you that and more? If I were to bring you an offer in the first 3 weeks and I get you more, would you be willing to pay me 3.5%? And most of the time, they would not object to that. So that could be another strategy, I guess, with the commission when it comes down to will you lower. And we're always trying to accommodate and please our clients so that we can get the listing. But I think each one, it's going to be very, each client is, you have to, like you said, personality, you have to make it very organic with them and you're going to figure it out as you go. And,
Yeah, and you can say, will you be willing to pay me, or you can say compensate me for my work. It's a bit of a different attitude too, right? It's not about paying you, it's compensation.
Right.
Slightly different,
And
right?
also, I don't say commission, I say fee. This is our fee. It's not commission. So that's another way you can say, and this is our companies, or these are our earnings. This is what we're working hard for. You could say that too.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like establishing the motivation of the seller is key before you actually?
Oh yeah, that's where that pre-qualifying call comes into play. So typically you're gonna have a met, right? You meet somebody who has a question about selling their house, and already you're getting timeline, motivation, other decision maker. Why now? What do you enjoy about the home? What would you alter? Who's the decision maker? We have a solution needs, NEADS, right? That's like first contact or first engagement. Second engagement is a pre-qualifying call. Again, take that dialogue and just read it to them. They don't see you. They don't know you're reading the script, but read it and fill in those blanks as you go along, because that's your ammunition. Whether you do the email or not, then when you meet them in person, you're gonna take that list and you're gonna reconfirm. So the reason why you're selling is because you're looking at netting this. You want to sell by this time, right? You're basically feeding back like a doctor. When you do the intake sheet and all that stuff. I'm here because for the fifth time, the back of my neck hurts. I've answered that question 5 different times. So no difference with us going into it. So you're really just locking in motivation. And the biggest objection I normally get would be compensation, because what we're asking for. But beyond that, they've already decided to sign with us. Now it's just a matter of
It's also pride
paperwork.
too. I think
Yeah.
that challenge when they think they know better than you, and then at that point, you have to remind them that you're the professional.
Right.
Why am I here? It's like your doctor, and then you need to throw that back at them.
Right.
Just like you trust your doctor, you're trusting me, and that's why you're hiring.
No, what objections are you guys getting out there though?
So I'm gonna touch it in a second. That's important, by the way, because if you're the professional, you have to act as one, right? And everybody, the consumer, whatever the consumer is, whatever the product is or service that they're looking to buy or hire you for, they're looking for someone that is confident that they can do it. So if you show weakness in that sense, it's gonna be a problem, right? Or they're gonna compromise on hiring you no matter what, which is not always a good thing because you're gonna have issues. Give me an area that you sell right now, selling or talking to clients.
Canoga Park.
Canoga Park. Okay. Anybody here sold in Canoga Park? Anybody here? Yeah? Okay, Brian. You're the seller. Make this pre-call call right now. Come closer so the Zoom can hear you. Right? Okay. I mean, you gotta pick jacket. You gotta be a nice seller. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I'm the seller, you're the agent.
Yeah.
All right.
So I want to hear that. Are you guys okay to hear that pre-qual phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, Brian, it's Philip. How's it going today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Hey, doing great. I'm looking forward to meeting you and your family this coming Friday. Before we meet, do you have a few minutes for us to go over some questions about making sure that we prepare for everything that we're going to be talking about?
You know what? I'm running out to get the kids from school right now, but if it's just like 5 minutes, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to confirm, when you guys sell, you guys are planning on moving to Texas, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Awesome. And you've lived in this house for the last 15 years, correct?
Yes, up to 15, 14, I think, but almost 15, yeah.
Awesome. What I didn't have was the remaining balance on your home.
I think it's around 434,000, but my wife would know better.
Got it. And what are you guys looking to net?
We're actually trying to walk away here with at least 500,000. That's what we need to make it so we can buy the house cash in Texas.
Awesome. And then how soon do you guys need to get to Texas?
Honestly, we want to be out of here by summer, so in the next 4 or 5 months, man. That's our drop dead date.
Beautiful. And aside from you and your wife, are there any other decision makers?
No, just us.
Awesome. You know what? That's enough for me. If anything, if I missed anything, I'll jump on that group text that we have along with Monica, and we'll pick it up from there.
Hey,
Enjoy
sounds
picking up the
good,
kids.
brother. Yeah. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you.
Awesome.
Sold by La Familia.
Amazing. Love it.
Yeah. And you see, probably thanks for the 5 minutes because he would go for 2 hours right now if he didn't. Yeah.
He's right. Totally.
Yeah,
You're right.
But you see how he adjusted he condensed to whatever critical, questions that you wanna know, right? Anybody else is doing that in their pre-call conversations? Okay. So
And the reason why I do it, you guys know Monica and I have all of our times dedicated to our kids. So like if we're gonna meet with somebody, oh my God, that actually has to be worth our time. We don't have evenings, we don't have afternoons. I literally stack my appointments for Tuesdays and Thursdays, assuming we don't have a board meeting or something. And then otherwise I get dinged. But then, I got to stack them so they have to follow one another. And the more I have, the less time I need to invest in front of them. Right. So like if I can save 2 hours for me personally and make it an hour or make it 45 minutes or make it half an hour, that's time given back to lead generation. That's time given back to lead follow-up. That's time given back to my kids and my wife. And without that, I honestly would be I'd either not do as many sales or quit real estate, or I just would sacrifice time with the kids. And we can't afford either,
a few things that you wouldn't do from your experience in a listing appointment.
Let's see what I wouldn't do. First of all, when they ask you for something to drink, I've been told, say yes. It just breaks the ice. So make sure that
a good tip.
Yeah. Don't say, oh no, I'm okay. I've now say, yes, I'll take the espresso. Okay, fine, I'll take it. Do it.
Full scotch.
Yeah.
Margarita.
Yeah. It's really an icebreaker. I say do it.
Yeah.
Something also, you have to make sure depending, you have to know sometimes if they're not wearing shoes, make sure you look at that and ask, should I take off my shoes? When you're walking through the home, make sure be careful not to say too much, because what you think is the worst thing ever could be the most valuable thing in their home.
Yeah.
Just some things I think
Just
to remember.
Or vice versa.
Or
right?
vice versa,
Yeah.
right.
You're overly excited about something that they're like, this is why is he so excited about that silly thing, right? Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I one time was in a situation where I think they had 4 dogs. I was a little nervous because I have some allergies, and I was like, oh,
I need Benadryl.
I didn't know so that you're not you want to be professional and you can't be flustered and start feeling unwell. So maybe take a Claritin or something.
Yeah, keep it in your pad.
Have it with the water they're gonna give you. Those are good tips, right? Yeah. Yes, Susie?
Stay in a listing appointment on average.
Oh, at least an hour.
Why?
But that's just because it's a lot. Unless you're in and out, but that's not the relationship. It's about a relationship, and it's about them feeling comfortable. You are the professional, and they are going to pick the one that makes the most sense in terms of, hey, my house is worth this. But any agent can promise the world to them. It's about comfort. And so you just want to make sure that you have that time with them. Always, whenever you come in, if you want, have a seat first, put your things down. And then say, can I set my things here? Because they don't know, they've never met you. Sometimes they're uncomfortable. They don't even know, where do we begin? So you kind of have to lead them.
Beautiful.
So that's something else. Have your paper, have your book, have your notebook in hand, or whatever, your phone or iPad, whatever you do to take notes, because I forget. So you want to make sure you're taking notes, or you have someone with you. Sometimes in a team, you can have someone with you and they can take notes for you.
Last question. You knocked the door, got into the house. shoes, no shoes, whatever, all good. Do you start with show me the house first, or what's the first thing, Rita and then Philip?
I've done both.
Okay.
I have done, it kind of just depends on their personality. If they're really warm and you could already feel that they're just like so excited to see you. So, okay, where can I put my things down here? And then you kind of, engage that way. If they do say, well, let me give you a tour. No problem. I'm ready. Can I set my things down? Again, you kind of
You want to anchor it
you don't
first.
be walking around with your purse and your bag and your briefcase and like your laptop. You just feel like you're in and out. So you have to kind of feel like you're their company. And that's how they're not going to treat company that way. So kind of break the ice that way.
Yeah, you lead. That's the key
Yeah.
sense I got. Philip?
Yeah, I mean, the listing presentation says to go on the tour with them. I know it says you go on the tour by yourself. I tend to just walk with them through the house and ask them what are their favorite points of the home. I try and bring back to when they bought the house so they can remember that. And they'll, what stood out for you when you bought this house, that we can highlight for a seller. So you're almost
So it's emotional thing.
No, it's like
approach.
neuro-linguistic programming. Like when we get your home on the market, what was it about this home that stood out for you so that we can point it out on the market space? It's almost like an assumptive close on top of all the pre-planning stuff.
Makes sense?
And one last thing
Smart.
I want to mention that we didn't talk about is when you are talking about pricing, never give one price. Talk about three prices, three strategies. You have the event pricing, you have the average prices today, or you have the let's test the market pricing. And that's how you know who's motivated.
Smart.
That's how you know what their motivation is. Because then
And people like options too, right? So it's less demanding.
And I have it written down on the paper. They need to see it on paper. You write that down on paper and you show it to them. Say, you want this, you want this, you want this. And the three different net sheets, but I don't show them the three net sheets. I only show them that one at the end.
Which they want to,
The one that they select. So.
Question?
Yeah, I had an insurance company for like 25 years and I sold the book. But what we used to do when we
Book of
walked
choice.
in, first thing we would say, oh, these are your kids. Oh, you must have been here for many years. Oh, so you must know your neighbors. We plant the seeds so we can get referrals after we sign the contract.
Yeah. John already sold the next house. Yeah. Yeah. That's how you do it. Last couple of notes you want to share with us?
It's okay to F up. It's okay to make mistakes. You're not going to get it perfect. Yes, get help, ask for help, bring people with you, and know that it's never going to be perfect. My first listing appointment was a cold call. Guy named Brian Simmons, superstar dude, called and was like, oh, wow, I got an appointment. And it was a $1.6 million home at the time, scared S-less, and still showed up. And, you kind of connect with people that way. You find out like he's dealing with a divorce and you just let the relationship grow from there. Then the actual listing I took was another cold call, left a bunch of messages. The guy just said, hey, I'm ready to sell my house. How much do you think you can sell it for? He was the easiest client to work with. And then another one was an SOI. So like be okay with failing forward. Like you just took a bunch of notes, pick one thing from your notes that you're going to implement. Be qual, show up with a gift, triplicate of choice, whatever it is. Pick one and stick with it. Don't worry about getting it perfect from start to finish. Just be in front of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we
Well said.
learn from our mistakes. I have
100%.
many, and I have not gotten all of my listings. Trust me, there's a lot of us for everyone, but we're not always going to connect with them, and that's okay. If you don't connect with them, that's okay. There's enough business out there for everyone. And the other tip I would say is if you have a question, call Manny. Because he has so much value. He gives us so much great advice. Jessica and I had a lease appointment one day, and thankfully, I think Jessica and Manny had a conversation in the office, and Manny had said, do this and do this. And so Jessica called me. She said, Rita, what about we go in there? Maybe we'll get the listing. And I said, okay, I'm coming. We're going to go together. We did this. We went for a lease appointment. We got the listing. And we ended up giving our, another staging opportunity to the staging company. I mean, we did it, so there's so many opportunities with leases too. Go get those leases. Those leases are valuable, and you could still make such a wonderful sphere of influence in business and, get your database through those leases. And they do come back if you treat them well. I promise you, they have come back to us for purchases. They don't forget, but you have to keep in touch with them.
Exchange.
Yes.
Keep in touch
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing. Be okay with not getting the listing. Like
Yeah.
pitch the idea of them turning it into a rental and building wealth, and most importantly, like what Rita was saying, be okay with not taking an overpriced listing. And what if you don't get it, just have your lead generation time block so strong that it's F you, I got another one in the pipeline. Right? That's our only confidence in real estate is the money we have saved, our pipeline, and our lead generation habits. That's it. Otherwise, we're begging for the deal as opposed to saying, I could do without it.
Think outside the box. I had a listing, Leor knows, it didn't sell for months. And I don't like that. I like to sell my listings, but it's okay. We started high because that's what the client wanted. We ended up, instead of, her getting discouraged and waiting for the expiration and maybe going with another company or whatever it was, I ended up having a short-term renter, paying her right now for the next few months. And they're renting this house and she's gonna actually list, because it was around the holidays and it just wasn't happening. So we're gonna relist it in June. It was a 6-month rental. So why not think outside the box and do things different for your listings that aren't selling?
Yeah,
Maybe.
good point.
Suggest it.
Yeah, I've done that,
Maybe. Maybe.
and the house sold for more than the original.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful and she's deserving of it. She loves her home. She wasn't willing to give it to the lower offers. We got offers, it just didn't work out. So I'm just happy that, and the renter that ended up renting is going through a divorce who may actually need to buy something. And she needs to sell her home eventually. So it just worked out. Why not? Just put it out there and see, and then talk to the agents. Like I'm always I think building relationships with our agents is number one. It's also having clients, but we help each other. We're here to help each other.
Yeah.
And like these
Piece and everything
pocket
together.
listings that we get from the office, it's amazing. So
Rita Kanberian, Filip
Yes.
Crispino, the art
Good
of
job.
public presentation. Yeah. Here, hold on, sit down.
These.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Once again, thank
Hey.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Kim.
made that
You can-
easy. Well, I said it.